Hello and welcome to this week's pastoral message, Pastoral to Go. And this week I'd like to talk about change. No surprises there, change is happening at great pace at the moment, and many of us are having great difficulty keeping up with it, including myself. However, how do we cope with the changes that are taking place in church, and how should we respond, and how can we respond? Have you ever noticed that on the metro lines in Valencia, there comes a certain point where you arrive at a station and it says over the tannoy, all change, and that means you have to get out of your seat, change trains if you want to go anywhere else. And that's the kind of period we're at. We're at an all change moment. It's also the kind of moment that was reached in the book of Ezra in the Bible. Ezra chapter 3 verses 11 and 12, when the new temple was being built, the old one had been destroyed, and it was going to be rebuilt after 70 or 80 years. And very interesting response from the people and the priests. Let me read you some of this passage. All the people shouted with great joy when they praised the Lord, because the foundations of the house of the Lord were laid. But many of the priests and Levites and heads of the fathers' houses, old men who had all seen the first house, wept with a loud voice. Why did they weep? Well, they wept because they remembered the old temple, and this new temple was not going to be the same as the old one. Change was happening. Change brings some people great relief and joy, but others it brings weeping and tears, because change is difficult, change is hard. It was hard in the Old Testament. Even though the temple was eventually built or rebuilt, the change is painful and a difficult process. You know, the WHO have said that this pandemic may well last up to 2 years more, 24 months more of this, and some famous and quite prestigious epidemiologists are saying up to 3 years. 2 to 3 years' time will change the habits of many people on many things, and it's changing the habits in churches as well. It's bound to. We need to adjust. We need to be able to change with these situations. I want to encourage each of us, yes, to cry over what has happened, but then to let go and be able to join in with the joy of those who look forward to the new things that God is doing. I was watching a video by someone called Dr. Henry Cloud the other month, very helpful, and it said this. Imagine, this is life before the pandemic. This is life after the pandemic. Where you can see the two arms on top of each other, this is the middle period we're in now. There are some things which we're still doing from the past, but there are new things which are coming, which we will have to do. So the essence of who we are as church doesn't change. But the way that we do some of those things, the amount that we do them in presence, the amount that we do them over screens and with Zoom and things like that, that is going to change. The old way of doing church has gone everywhere in the whole of Spain, or it's going. And so we do need to adjust, we do need to adapt to what's coming. It's not going to be the same as before. So my encouragement to each of us is to try to embrace that change and try to actually, if we need help with technology, if we need help with how we feel, if we say in our spirits, I really need to see people, then we need to try to find ways to do that safely during this period. So be encouraged and do use this new technology, learn how it works, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Because together we are El Faro, we are part of the kingdom of God, and we are a church which wishes to move forward together.